Around 1507 BC, in the heart of ancient Egypt, a girl was born into royalty. Her name was Hatshepsut. She was never meant to become one of the most powerful rulers in Egyptian history, because in her world, kings ruled, and women did not. But history remembers those who refuse to accept the roles they are given. Hatshepsut was the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I. From an early age, she was surrounded by power, ritual, and responsibility. She was educated, observant, and deeply aware of how authority worked. Later, she married her half-brother, Thutmose II, as was tradition. And when he died around 1479 BC, everything changed. The throne passed to a young boy, Thutmose III, a child, too young to rule. So Hatshepsut stepped in as regent. At first, she ruled in his name, quietly, carefully, but over time, something shifted. She realized she was not just capable of holding power, she was capable of owning it. Around 1473 BC, Hatshepsut made a bold and unprecedented decision. She declared herself Pharaoh, not queen, not regent, Pharaoh. To solidify her authority, she did something extraordinary. She adopted the full image of a king. She wore the royal headdress. She appeared in statues with the ceremonial beard. She was depicted not as a woman, but as a ruler, not to disguise herself, but to be accepted in a system that only recognized male power. For nearly 20 years, Hatshepsut ruled Egypt during one of its most stable and prosperous periods. Instead of waging constant war, she focused on growth. One of her most famous achievements was a trading expedition to the land of Punt around 1450 BC. This journey brought back gold, incense, exotic animals, and rare goods. It wasn't conquest, it was strategy. And she built her greatest architectural legacy. The temple at Deir el-Bahari still stands today, a monument carved into stone, reflecting vision, precision, and permanence. But Hatshepsut had done something dangerous. She had redefined power. She proved that a woman could rule, not just successfully, but exceptionally. And history does not always welcome those who challenge its foundations. Hatshepsut died around 1458 BC, and after her death, her story began to disappear. Her statues were destroyed. Her name was removed from monuments. Her images were defaced. It was a deliberate attempt to erase her from history, not because she failed, but because she succeeded too well. For centuries, she was forgotten until archaeologists, thousands of years later, uncovered the truth. Her temple remained. Her inscriptions endured, and slowly, her story was restored. Today, Hatshepsut is recognized as one of the most powerful and successful pharaohs of ancient Egypt. Think about that. A woman who stepped into a role she was never meant to have, who ruled with intelligence instead of force, who built a legacy strong enough to survive even deliberate erasure. How many others have been forgotten, simply for being ahead of their time? Hatshepsut's story is not just about ancient Egypt. It's about courage. The courage to step forward when the world expects you to step back. The courage to become something more, even when no one has done it before. Because true legacy is not defined by how long you are remembered, but by what you leave behind that cannot be erased. Even when history tries to forget you, greatness leaves a mark that time cannot erase. If this story moved you, subscribe to Her Story Through Time for more powerful stories of women who shaped our world. If Hatshepsut's story sparked your curiosity, there is so much more to explore. You can begin with Hatshepsut, the Female Pharaoh, by Joyce Tildesley, a detailed and accessible look into her life and reign. Another powerful read is The Woman Who Would Be King by Kara Cooney, which brings depth and perspective to her extraordinary rise to power. For ancient historical context, the writings of Manetho and inscriptions uncovered at Deir el-Bahari provide valuable insight into how her story was recorded and later erased. You can also explore collections from institutions like the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the British Museum, where many artifacts connected to Hatshepsut are preserved and studied today.